sometime after the events of Gears of War 1 in the Light Mass Offensive. The COG-controlled city of Jalane was overrun by Locust forces. Marcus Fenix and co. were sent to rescue the survivors, but they encountered many problems along the way. As always, I'm your host Abz, and this is Marcus Fenix versus the Unarmored Mauler. The city of Jalane was the birthplace of Alex Brand, and Alex, just like many young girls, were drafted into Chairman Prescott's repopulation program, which was essentially major breeding farms, where young women were artificially inseminated. If that didn't work, then the quote-unquote old-fashioned way was used, where the best of gears were recruited to impregnate the young girls. When a young girl failed to become impregnated, then she was deemed to be barren and was sent onto the front lines. Alex Brand being one of them, and that should give an overview of the place and situation Marcus Fenix and the rest of Delta find themselves in, as the Locust forces had overran Jalane's garrison, and the survivors, in the form of women and children, were left to fend for themselves. So let's get straight into the action. As Delta Squad rescued many women and children in the last location of the humans in Jalane, and got them to safety in a bunker, a kid was still left out there in the open. The Locust had seen this kid, but the scarred Cantus, who was the leader of the Locust forces in this battle, told his forces to hold fire as he awaited to ambush the gears. The Unarmored Mauler held its position as Marcus Fenix noticed the separated child and tried to make his way to the kid. But just as he was about to reach the child, the scarred Cantus yelled to the Locust forces to start the attack. The Unarmored Mauler immediately charged right through a nearby wall and smashed it to bits, bursting out the other side and punching Marcus Fenix in the face, catching him off guard and knocking him out cold. Marcus was out and the battle had started. The scarred Cantus ordered his Locust drones and the Unarmored Mauler to commence the battle, and so they did. The Unarmored Mauler wasn't like the average Mauler boomer variant. It was very unique, being physically larger, stronger, and more muscular than an average Mauler. His strength was on par with that of a berserker, being able to smash through a concrete wall with just his fists, with ease and without any pain. He was a force to be reckoned with, and he also seemed to be a lot more intelligent than your average Mauler. But the Unarmored Mauler still equipped the signature Mauler helmet and an explosive flail, but he did not wear any upper body armor and didn't require the use of a boom shield. As Dom and Cole took the fight to the Locust, the female survivors pressed the button to close the doors, shutting them off to the Locust, the kid, and Marcus as well, stating that he's not their highest priority. Dom and Cole are really worried about Marcus, especially Dom of course, stating that they got to get to him, his heartbeat still pinging, but Baird ordered them to stand down and told the two of them to keep him covered while he came up with a plan. Cole said to Alex that Dom was a commando way before him and Baird signed up on E-Day, but Dom's a player like Cole, not a coach. Marcus always figured that if he went down, it would be up to Baird to figure out a way to save the day. Meanwhile, Baird requested heavy evac from Control. Cole sees that Marcus is now conscious, and Baird comes to the realization that the Locust haven't killed Marcus because they want to ambush the rescue team. Therefore he knows that there's a smarter one amongst them, a Theron commander or a Cantus priest, and he tries to put himself in their shoes, to try and think what that Locust leader will be thinking. Baird concludes that the Cantus or Theron will have the numerical advantage, perhaps even surrounding the skies, and at least one heavy or more. He concludes that they need to make the Locust think that they're going to win, that it's inevitable, otherwise they'll call for heavier guns, and then it would be over for all of them. So Baird orders for only Dom, Cole and Jace to shoot, but fire like they're short on ammo, and then they let the Locust forces in, as frag grenades will be planted and set on proximity. Cole keeps shooting, but Dom tells him not too much and to go easier on them, while Baird sets things up and orders the rest to fit through the holes and get to the other side to safety. After a long pause, with no one emerging from the bunker, the Unarmored Mauler grabbed his explosive flail and began to advance on the door to the bunker. Using all his strength, He swung the flail, hitting the door very hard, but not enough to knock it over. The unarmored mauler then waited a few moments, and then took another mighty swing at the door, all while listening to children cry over the facility speakers that Baird had set up. The unarmored mauler took another pause, giving the scarred Cantus time to revive some of the injured drones with its chanting, and once they were healed, the mauler charged at the door again, but this time used his body instead, finally advancing into the bunker and knocking over the door, which was all part of Baird's plan. Dom and Cole finally ran, and the mauler and the drones charged through the door, unaware that the whole entryway was trapped with bolo grenades. Baird flicked the detonator switch and set off all of the grenades simultaneously, blowing the unarmored mauler and the drones to smithereens. The scarred Cantus began to panic after seeing most of his drones killed, so he tried to heal one of the injured drones, but while doing so, he left himself exposed and was shot down and killed by Baird and Co., who out-ambushed the intelligent scarred Cantus. The scarred Cantus may have been very smart, but he was outsmarted by the blonde genius Baird. They were finally able to rescue Marcus. His brothers in arms refused to let him go down. Marcus Fenix took a major L and was outsmarted by the scarred Cantus and beaten by the unarmored mauler, but the rest of Delta always proved once again as to why they were the best in the business, brothers to the end. And that, my friends, is the story of Marcus Fenix versus the unarmored mauler. Drop a like if you enjoyed this lore video, subscribe for more similar content like this. I'm your host Abz, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.